Shalom, my name is Yeshua Yaakov ben Avraham. That's the name of the convert. It used to be Michael O'Donnell. I'm a didactic scientist. I live in Jerusalem for 22 years. First, I want to compliment in the extreme Noam Chomsky, a fabulous. Professor Chomsky is a brilliant man um, and of the highest ethics and morality. This is a leader of the Jewish people by an order of magnitude more than a Shimon Peres or Ariel Sharon, and his defense of Norman Finkelstein's scholarship and accuracy, the victim of a political assassination by the hatchet man Dershowitz, a megaphone for Israel's princes who produced a nation of psychopaths who fear them, in their police state and their Shabak. Here last week they arrested in Ben Gurion Norman Finkelstein. He's trying to go to Hebron. You know, he's a threat to national security. It's pathetic. Who am I? Let's, in 5 seconds or less, first again and most importantly, Norman, I have not sent you any emails lately or been in touch. My apologies, I've been very busy. Thank you very, very much for this video. I didn't see it, and I compliment you on your articulate, brilliant defense, a much-deserved defense of Norman Finkelstein. Okay. Yeshua Yaakov ben Avraham. I'm the author of Humanomics. And what is Humanomics? It is the East-West convergence model of the post-collapse of the local reality. Only someone of the intelligence of Professor Chomsky can understand these things. I've been getting all kinds of specious Christopher Hitchin groupie Dawkins groupies emails flaming away because of their ignorance. But anyway, let's move on. Humanomics is the East-West convergence model. And what are we talking about? What is it? I observed 18 years ago the collapse of the local reality. It's been confirmed since. It's spreading around the globe. And it signals a paradigm shift from the mammalian behavioral animal man to the ascent from the modern era to the postmodern era, to the ascent of cognitive man. That is the purpose of mankind. That's why God created us. It is expressed and embodied technically in what is called the PDT axis. I'll repeat it, PDD axis, which stands for paradox, dilemma to dichotomy axis. And what are we talking about? In terms of the collapse of the local reality, it operates globally on 4 levels. On the psychosocial, that's where I first observed it 18 years ago. On the behavioral, on the cognitive, and on the psycholinguistic level. The latter, Professor Chomsky is probably far more expert than I. So what are we talking about? On the 4 levels, let's, in the reverse order of what I recited. On the psycholinguistic level, I'm asking you, in the spirit of the theory of diffidence, to not believe in the only you that you think you know, and to first and foremost believe in God and to trust in God to help you, because we're now in the redemption. And help you to do what? To end the denial of the end of exile, which signifies the collapse of the local reality, and that collapse refers to the only you that you know. So I'm asking you to not believe in the only you that you think you know, because that you isn't the real you. Now that's a paradox. That's number 1. Number 2, after we understand this paradox, which I've just explained, we come to the dilemma, and it is a choice. And the choice is to end the denial of the collapse of the local reality that ends the exile and separation from God and from one's authentic self, the real you, and prove this choice by your undertaking immediate and timely deconstruction personally of the collapsed local reality that was your life, in the false you which is now ground zero. That's the meaning of the global collapse of the local reality. That is the dilemma axis. So you got a choice. And lastly, we come to the dichotomy. And the dichotomy axis is regarding a further choice. And that choice requires and compels a separation. And that separation, excuse the interruption, I've just had an explosion of noise. I apologize. That separation is the dichotomy. And what does the dichotomy entail? In the context of humanomics, which is the East-West convergence model, that's the context. Its central organizing principle is receiving to give. Its primary cognitive behavioral science first principle is receiving to give. Its central technology is identity resolution. And within that technology, you have to make a choice. And that choice is a dichotomy to effect a consistent and sustainable separation between the former identity of exile, which is now the collapsed local reality, and ground zero, and you must prove this by deprogramming the mind of exile. This is the dichotomy, and the dichotomy is to effect an absolute separation between the old you and the new you, both in your mind, in your consciousness, and your identity. So that, my friend and friends, is the axis called the PDT axis, which I repeat again is the paradox, dilemma to dichotomy axis. Now that's where we are in history. It's a paradigm shift, and it's all this is written and explained in the trilogy Humanomics, 2,500 pages. It'll be published on the web with a few hundred graphics, and just a little a brief preview of something that was recently written that might interest you. Yeshua's answers in his trilogy Humanomics clarify Nietzsche's errors with man's now descent, postmodern era ascent, disputing nihilism's central tenets and its derivative philosophical materialism's common specious claims of atheism, agnosticism, and anti-deist noise as attempts to negate modern science and traditional spiritualism and values, particularly in America. And then it goes on and it says, white space, Bell's theorem confirms the non-local, in quotes, invalidation of atheism and its now popular anti-foundationalist claims, at best a naive interpretation of nihilism, quantum reality science, and it's a pretext often for attacking American values, in particular of faith, and while some are naive. Such actions are political extreme noise, and I appreciate those comments. I'm not going to, until they publish them, I'm not going to say the source, but that's a description of what's coming, folks. Change is coming to America, and change is coming to the world. For almost 9 months now, it's been out there on the internet that there has been a fundamental unprecedented fundamental change globally with the collapse of the local reality, and that it signals a paradigm shift from behavioral man to cognitive man. It shifts from man's exile to redemption in the religious context, and in the secular context it refers to the shift from the pre-modern and modern era to the post-modern era. Okay, I'm Yeshua Yaakov, formerly Michael O'Donnell. I'm a didactic scientist. Let me see. What do you need to know beyond that? In me, you find the convergence of my Abba and Ima. That's my mother and father. My father, a secular, humanist. That's the best way I can describe it. And my mother, a spiritual traditionalist. Those two constructions converge in their son, Michael O'Donnell. My mother's family was Jewish. I returned to my roots. That explains the contradiction between Michael O'Donnell and Yeshua Yaakov, Ben Avraham, and Jerusalem. and I'm not too welcome in this communist Bolshevik nation of psychopaths and police state. Thank you.